Hey everybody, happy Wednesday, happy hump day. Welcome to YOLO with ToLo. Waiting for Lonell to get on today's show. I am so excited about. Um, Today we are talking about stepping into your light. Oh, this is my ring light actually, check this out. Oh. Let me wait till Lonell gets on right quick. My co-host here. Kevin Lee will be our timekeeper today. And here you go. Here, let's get ready to roll. Let me add you. Okay, Lonell, let me add you right quick. Hold up. It's adding you right now. Sometimes Facebook is a little bit wonky, but we got this. So I hope you guys had a really good week. I just got back from Houston from the Asian American Journalists Association, and that was such an awesome time. Okay, it says it's adding you, Lonell, here. Let's see. One second.
Let's try that. Is that better?
There you go.
Okay. Hey, y'all.
Hi. Get better at this. Sometimes it takes a little while for a Facebook to add, so.
Yeah, it kept saying that
you
it
know
was
me.
adding, but it never.
Yeah, same here. But you know what? I'll talk forever. You know this. Hi. Looks like you're at home. I forgot to ask you where you're at.
In Atlanta.
Woo-hoo!
How are you?
Isn't it nice just to be grounded and to be at home? I've been traveling so much, and I feel like you, and that has given me a lot of more compassion for what you do.
Yeah, it looks easy and glamorous, but it takes effort.
Right? Exactly. Oh. I mean, even this, it's like sometimes it's like with the technology and all that, you just gotta go with the flow.
Just breathe in and move on.
Right?
Yeah.
Namaste. So how are you?
I am anytime that I'm at home, you know I'm wonderful. No, but
okay.
It's been great. I actually went and got a library card today. Now, mind you, I've been living in Atlanta 17 years, and I just got my public library card today, just because there's this branch that's near my house, beautiful library branch, and I'd been hearing about it, and finally I was like, okay, well, let me go over there and check it out. But, you know, I use all my stuff at home. I buy my books typically. But now that I have that resource that I'm paying for with my tax dollars, I'll be utilizing it.
Yeah. You know what? I ain't gonna lie. I have been living here in San Francisco kind of cumulatively for like over 2 decades. And I recently just got a library card within the last, say, 6 months because I had my niece and nephew visiting over the summer.
Right.
And I was like, I'm gonna take y'all to the library and get you, get you some books. Hey, Myrna. Hope you had a good week too. Hey, Kevin. Good to see you guys. Kevin and I actually shared a room, as you saw last week, at the Asian American Journalists Association conference. And oh my God, it was such a blast. And it was
that was in Houston, right?
Yeah, it was in Houston, okay. And it was a lot better than I expected. Just because every year I go and the last few years I showed my documentary on caregiving in the Asian American community, which was a partnership with AARP. It's called Circle of Love if you're interested in that. But they flew me there the last 2 years, in the last two cities, Philly and Vegas, to talk about that. This year I was training nonprofits and community leaders on how to tell their story through the Media Institute. And honestly, it's all about giving back, as I am a veteran journalist. Some girl, let me tell you, some millennial, I don't even know if she was a millennial. I think she was younger. But she was like, oh, so is this how many years I've been going? Is this your like first or second year? And I'm like, I was like, I've been going for 22 years. And she was like, I wasn't even born 22 years ago. I was like, shade.
Sit down.
But just like we say, black don't crack and Asian don't raisin. They were like, what? I don't know you're that old. I'm like, yeah, I'm actually old enough to be your dad. So anyway, it was great. Kevin actually, who's keeping time for us. Hey, Lauren, LA. We missed you at the AAJA conference, Lauren. Anyway, so Kevin inspired me actually to do this, and I think I'm going to try to do it in regular everyday life too. But he, every year I go, and it just reminds me of, I see, so many young journalists and young people out there going, like back in the day. This is how old I am, clutching my resume, my physical resume, and my VHS tape. Yes, I did say. Yes, I did say VHS.
What's
tape.
that?
you know that thing that you hold? Somewhere, I have one here. Anyway, at least I didn't say beta, even though we did work with beta back in the day.
That's before my
But I
time.
would tell, you know, like be at these job fairs trying to get a job. And, you know, you feel so insecure. You're not really sure of yourself personally, professionally, and forget spiritually. Um, and I just remember how it felt to just the awkward kind of, you know, person that was just like, oh, I don't know a ton of people here. And when you go to these mixers, it seems like everybody and their mama's talking to everybody else, but the people are alone. So Kevin inspired me actually to be more social and just to talk to, you know, the people that seem like the wallflowers. And I had some very intriguing conversations, had some really good talks about, you know, where we want to take YOLO with ToLo, social media live talk show that we're doing. And it was just reinvigorating. So it was an awesome, awesome time. And of course, I got to watch. Last week we talked extensively about what I call is one of my favorite movies now is Crazy Rich Asians, which hits the big screen today.
Yeah.
Today, which brings us into segment 1 is YOLO's Hot Topics. And can I just tell you that I was so excited about this. And when I get excited about something like this, I just want to scream it at the top of my lungs and just like tell everybody. I was telling the Lyft driver. I was telling the barista. I was like telling people at the gym that I don't even know. I'm like, have you heard about Crazy Rich Asians? And this is, there's so many reasons why I'm excited about it. So I woke up at 4:30 this morning and I decided to write a blog about it. 4:30.
So that was on your, that's in your spirit for real.
Okay, that's when you know, right? And I was just so excited, and I was like, how do I even do this? And I was really in the flow. I was just kind of writing bullet points at first, and I was like, you know, this is going to be a love letter to John Chu, the director of the movie, and Kevin Kwan, who is the person that wrote the book, the author. And it was just an open love letter to them, to tell them what this means for me, being an Asian American immigrant. And, you know, it touched so many different levels. I saw myself in so many different characters. And, you know, you started out in TV and, you know, you've done stuff with a different world. And, you know, you've been in that world in Hollywood. And, you know, the Black folks, you guys are way ahead of the Asian movement in the media. Or should I mean, I don't even want to say movement because it's like the needle has barely shifted.
That's okay, because you guys are way ahead of us in the tech game. So, you know, we both got common ground to make up. But listen,
that stereotypes abound for a reason.
Do you think that people in the Asian community will be satisfied with the depictions of the characters, or do you think that people might be outraged by some of them?
So let me put on my journalist hat right quick. So Lauren's a former journalist too, so please chime in, especially if you're able to watch it. I'd love to hear what you think about it too. Hey Trey, we're talking about Crazy Rich Asians and what y'all Asians think about that. So Trey, chime in. Being a Vietnamese American man. So there's two kind of camps, okay? And I'll tell you one side and the other. One is like me, we embrace it. We're just happy to see other Asian Americans, especially Asian American males in leading roles. So it's like kind of scaffolded, really. I mean, like there's so many nuances and layers to, you know, the Asian man not being, you know, in a leading role, really, right? And not being really seen as sexy in Hollywood. Them being emasculated or like the Long Duck Dong characters and things like that. So there's one camp like me that's super proud and supportive. And then there's the, you know, just to see people that look like us and that have lives that, you know, that not all of the lives are like ours, but, you know, you kind of see yourself up there and you see the things you're going through up there on the big screen. And really it's about being seen, felt, and heard is what I wrote the blog about. And then there's this other camp of people that are like, well, what about the South Asians? And what about blah, 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 you know, these other underrepresented Asians and the workers and blah, blah, blah. And why do some of the workers, why are they darker? And, you know, and I was just like, you know, you missed the point. That's not what this is about. What this is really about is love. It's about family. And it's really about finding your truth. That's why I'm so excited to talk about it here, because that's what our show is all about, right? Is connecting you to your higher self. So you do find your power and your truth. And you know what? It ain't easy. I know last week somebody had posted. Did you see the comment somebody posted like, oh, you know, not everybody has Hollywood lives or ends in Hollywood. And I think
thank God
that's really
they
missing
don't.
Okay. And that's really missing the point.
Yeah.
And right? The point is that, it is hard. If come out to people that you love about being gay, LGBT, whatever, LGBTQ, or about how you want to leave your job that your parents wanted you to have, or leave the American dream that they wanted for you, it is hard. And there are ramifications. But you know what? One person that really inspired me is, if you need some inspiration, Google, and maybe I'll find it and I'll put it in the show notes later, is Ellen DeGeneres did a commencement speech about how, remember back in the day, she was a comedian first, and then she had the show that was based on her life, sitcom.
Right.
And Oprah played her therapist when she
therapist.
came out.
She made the cover of Time magazine.
Right. And literally, and this was a time when LGBT, like, people didn't even understand it. It was
still
more taboo. Yeah, right. It was like, I remember that Time magazine. It said, yes, comma, I'm gay. And I was like, now you're just like, whatever. And well, I would say we say that, especially people, in bigger cities and whatnot. But she, she was talking about how hard it is, but really finding your truth and living and being your truth is so important. And, she talked about how she lost her show. She didn't even know that she lost it. She read in the trades, and Ellen was knocking on all these doors. Worried about paying her rent. And you know what? Eventually, Warner Brothers, which also produced this movie, yay, Warner Brothers, gave her a chance. And like, she's been going strong. #1 daytime talk show for over a decade, I think it is.
Right. Because she has her eyes on the end game. Everybody else gets caught up in the immediate headline. But she just kept focusing on her grind, on what she needed to do. Yeah. And that's why she's where she is today.
Yeah. So are you going to watch it? Today is the big day. I know a lot of theaters sold out. They are projecting this opening weekend they wanted to at least get 20 million is what I've been reading in the trades. But I think it looks like the projection is going to be closer to 30 million.
Oh, wow. Good. Yeah. I definitely will be out to see it. I've got a couple of movies I got to see this weekend.
I really want to compare notes with you. What do you make of all this? As somebody that didn't know much, did you honestly know anything about it before we talked about it last week?
No, I didn't know about the movie at all. I was like, what? Until you mentioned it. And I remember you saying that the last movie that had a all Asian cast, or predominantly Asian cast, was YOLO Club, and I was just like, that's just rude that it had been that long.
Right.
I couldn't believe. I still trying to wrap my head around that. I'm
25 years.
I'm excited just to have just to see something refreshing and something different on the screen. And I'm sure I'll be able to relate to it. So I'm excited about it, actually.
You know what? When something is done really well, and Kevin, if you're able to post the blog that I wrote today up on the show notes or in the comments, that would be great. But if you aspire to greatness, you really transcend whatever it is that is either the stereotype or that thing that perceivably brings you down. Like Oprah, when you talk about Oprah, you don't think, oh, she's the black lady, or that just the talk show host. She's Oprah. And when you see Ellen, she's not just, the lesbian comedian. She is Ellen, the person that wants to spread kindness and love and compassion. Tree here says, who's a Vietnamese American man, says, side comment, I'm tired of Asians hating on other Asians. This doesn't represent me phenomenon. While that may be true.
I'm glad it's not just black folks that think that
way.
Right. Thank you. You said that.
Well, that may be true. We should support one another. Definitely. And we should lift each other. Amen, brother. If one Asian succeeds in the media, we all do. Okay? And what I want to say is, you know what? Yes, and buy your ticket. I watched it for free last week because, Warner Brothers and AAJA sponsored it. But you know what? I'm going to watch it this week again and probably take some friends to watch it with me next week. So, your dollars speak, y'all. Let's see if this actually moves the needle. And they have, they have a lot at stake. I don't know if you read it in the trades, y'all watching, but Netflix had offered them a ton of money to buy the rights to the show, but they wanted to see how it would do in the box office to prove a point. And so that's when Warner Brothers stepped in. So there's a lot of stake in the game. And you know what? one thing I say is, you know what, Asians, we do support each other, and I really believe that, right? And once you get out of your own way and get out of your own kind of egoic thinking, you can spend that money, like you spend that money on sriracha or those little lychee jelly things that everybody and their mom, every single Asian ate. Like, you better spend that money on this movie. It's so,
Okay.
so good. Anyway. Am I passionate? Yes, I am.
Well, I'm glad to see that the projections are actually higher than what they had initially anticipated, because that means there's great buzz around the film. So I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Yeah, lots of great buzz. So let's move on to our segment 2, Dump the Hump. I love these kind of little organic ghetto segment kind of things, segment sign things. Dump the Hump. Okay, so Dump the Hump, and we started this to talk more about like how to get through your Wednesday hump and how to get through the humps in your life, but I think this one bleeds, this week's topic bleeds into the Dump the Hump segment. Stepping into your light is something that a phrase that I actually heard from you first. How did you? It's your life's mantra. It's right.
Yeah. So I say stand in your light, but in order to stand in, you got to step into it first. So it's all part of the process. And basically, what that means is just like owning the authenticity of your true self. And sometimes it just takes some time and some work to get there. But I think of it like going on stage. If you've ever had to maybe speak before someone, or if you think of like concert promoters, or before you go to a Broadway show, if you've ever been, or any theater, when the stage is dark, no one can see you, and you're standing behind there because you know what's potentially on the other side is rejection, and it could be from hundreds, if not thousands, of people. But at some point, you know you've prepared, you've rehearsed, and so when you step into that mark and the light comes on, you just go. And 9 times out of 10, you're gonna nail it if you've prepared. And so it's just that's kind of like the metaphor of standing in your light. When the spotlight comes on, baby, live, shine, and that's what that's really where my standing in your light. That's what it means for me. But really, it's just really about just owning who you are and just not being ashamed of that. And I'm not saying that's an overnight process, because it takes
it's a long
process, because if you're not in that place, you spent all the years of your life up until this point creating another alternate reality based on fear. So you're not going to unlearn that overnight. So find that light, baby, and stand in it and live. But yeah, it is not easy. It's easier said than done, but it's necessary. You can't function healthily without it, without really knowing who you are and
do you think that
owning it.
Do you think that I'm going to dare to say this, but do you think that it is our responsibilities as human beings and souls in this sort of like what Gary Zukav with The Seated Soul, one of my favorite books, in this earth suit, that is our goal? That is our responsibility.
Yeah, it is your responsibility, because there is, and I don't care what your spiritual or religious beliefs are, there is
not about religion.
There is an ordained purpose for your life that is greater than is greater than your ego. And in order to step into that, you've got to kind of navigate the path, and you've been prepared for that. That's why you have a dream or a certain desire. Some people want to have kids, some people don't. But that's not the same dream. So the reason that the person who has the dream and the desire to have the kids is having them or wants them is because that's part of their own identity. That's part of their ordained purpose. So you've got to stand in that.
When was the first time? Now this makes me think. When was the first time you stepped into your own light?
Wow,
whatever.
I don't know about the very first time. That's a good question. I'm trying to think. There have been. I still want to say probably post-college, my early 20s, maybe around that, somewhere in there. Just with moving out, I probably moving when I went to college, because I was told that I wouldn't get into the school. I was told I wouldn't have enough money to go to the school. It was all these naysayers about every time I expressed my dream to someone. Growing up. And for me, the big thing at that time was to attend Pepperdine University. And people were saying that's a rich white kid's school, you'll never get in, yada, yada, yada. And so leaving to do that, and once I got in and I got the financial aid to go, etc., getting there and then kind of stepping into this fear of like, oh my God, well, what if I fail, and yada yada yada, this is not that. And that was a constant struggle. It probably lasted my whole entire freshman year. It definitely lasted the first semester of my freshman year. And I think that finally I just realized it's like, okay, you're doing this, you're going to do this, you're going to apply, you're going to be the best you can. And at the end of the day, none of them are paying your tuition anyway.
Okay.
So I think that was probably the first time I realized that, oh, this is what it means to stand in your truth. You wanted this, you proclaimed this for years, now you're here. Don't let fear destroy this for you. And so that was probably the first. And then there were some others, you know, along the way.
You know, it's interesting. Last week when we talked about the topic of self-acceptance, and I talked about how I had an English professor at the University of San Francisco see me for who I really was in terms of me, Tuan Lam, the writer and communicator. But I want to say, it just dawned on me right now that the darkest times in my life, when I was really mad at God, when I couldn't really see the light, was really the moment or the crack in where the light came through,
right,
if you will. And all the challenges, like, you know, I lost 4 family members in a year's time at my first job, took care of them, they died, you know, they died. It's just and everything that's happened, I feel like you get little glimmers of light, you know, and little sparkles, and you just got to follow that. And you said something earlier that I actually want to double back on. You said something that really kind of resonated with me. You said that that thing that excites you, that's where your internal sparkle is.
Right.
When you follow that unabashed, and that is aligned with your true power, that thing that really excites you, that thing that some people call it talent, that God-given gift. But when that is your purpose and passion become aligned, like everything, like the divine order happens, right?
Right.
So, you know, sometimes when you're trying to get that job, nobody calls, and then all of a sudden, like, you meet somebody, and then everything comes together.
Right. So you just need to be in tune with that and understand that that's just how the journey works, and that's part of the process. But yes, you're not given those, you don't have those desires and those dreams for nothing. You're given those dreams because you can execute them, and that's part of your purpose. But you have to be obedient to the calling of your life, and that's not easy to get to, especially when your parents are telling you doctor, lawyer, engineer, and that's not what's in your heart.
My mom and dad.
So so that's, I'm not saying that.
Oh, you had Chinese parents? No, I always say that. My parents like doctor, lawyer, engineer. I'm like, not me. So Tao says, if it's always people that are afraid of exploring their dreams that try to deter you from following yours.
Oh, child.
People are afraid of feeling less than those who started on equal footing with.
Oh yeah, you've got to be. People are gonna definitely hate, and they'll try to sabotage.
Yeah.
They will try to get into your infiltrate your inner circle because they see that you're grinding. It's that whole crabs in the barrel syndrome. And if you can't sincerely be joyous and happy for someone else's success, why would you expect someone to be that way for you? I mean, you get what you give.
Okay. Yep. And I want to add too, we always talk about like the ToLo tribe, #ToLo tribe. And it's funny because several people at the convention, they were like, "Ooh, I'm a part of your tribe. I'm part of your tribe." And then even on my Facebook page, they were like, "Oh, #ToLo tribe" when I would post something. And, you know, it's true. Finding your tribe and having people hold you accountable and lift you up and shift your energy and perspective is key. It's all a part of the journey. It's really like the yellow brick road in The Wizard of Oz. You know, you have the Tin Man, you have, you know, the Dorothy character, you even have like Toto, you know, that really help you along the way. You know, I really am truly grateful for our friendship, and that we are able to hold each other accountable and other people accountable, because like what you all see here and on our Instagrams and all that, yeah, sure, you know, you and I like to see the positive in it all, but you know, some posts we get real too, and you know what, there's so many challenges that you and I have faced that really has made us who we are, you know.
Definitely so. I always say, just look at the 5 people closest to you in your life. I've said this before, and just take stock of those people in your inner circle. And if they are a fool, they are nothing but a reflection of your level of consciousness. So if they're not forcing you to raise your bar, then you need to put them out of the bar.
Yeah, I like that. And I like to tell people too, like, when you and I met each other, every single time we talked, that's how we started this show, right? We're like, oh my God, like we are on cloud nine. Like people that illuminate you and excite, make you feel excited and make you feel hopeful and make you feel supported. That's who you need to be around. And I think a huge life lesson for me, um, and a hard life lesson was that I had to learn to let go of people that I felt like, my wattage was dimmed.
Oh yeah.
And that's hard.
It is hard,
Light attracts
yeah,
light,
but you
Timothy,
have
you're
to.
right. Okay.
You got to pick them
Amen
to
to
the
that.
curb. It's not easy,
Okay.
but yeah, if you want some peace of mind, you got to eventually let go of that.
Yeah. You and I are big into quotes and poems and reading and all that. There's a quote by Marianne Williamson, and I'll just take a couple of quick excerpts from it, but it's called Our Deepest Fear. And she says, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. You and I know this.
Yes, I
It is
love
our
that.
light and not our darkness that frightens us most. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? And actually, who are you not to be? I think I'm going to read this whole thing. You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We were all meant to shine as children do. I should say children of God. Oh, it's getting to this point. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. We are all divine, really. It's not just in some of us, it is in everyone. As we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we're liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others.
That's so true, though, and it really does.
Yes, right?
It really does, because people they watch your actions more so than what you say. People are paying attention when you don't think that they're paying attention, so that's important. Just like you're paying attention to other people when they don't think you're paying attention. So.
Yeah. Gosh, we really need to talk about paying attention in another show, because that is something that I had talked to with actually some, really spiritual people at the conference, and some execs at the network. So paying attention nowadays, I just feel like we just lack the attention span, So let's move on to our questions, just because in terms of time, I can talk to you forever. So my next favorite segment is segment 3, Talk to ToLo, where we talk to you and answer your questions.
A couple of
live
questions.
That
I always love those questions.
So bring it on. Thanks, Kevin, for uploading the Marianne Williamson's full quote. Okay, so question number 1 comes from Shirley here in San Francisco, and she asks, speaking of fear, how do we move beyond being scared to fail? She goes, I imagine the worst case scenarios when making decisions or having a big change come in my life. How do we get past that? Really good question.
That is a good question. It's you can't. I mean, you're going to be scared to fail, but you just have to know that. And I'm paraphrasing. A friend of mine, Maya Watson from Netflix, she posted a great quote on Instagram today when someone asked her something similar, and she was saying that the sweet spot and the joy is really what's on the other side of the fear. And stepping into it, she's always petrified, and I get that, because you are petrified, but you have to push through it, because the glory is really on the other side. Whatever the lesson is, whatever the experience is. So to answer that question, like, how do you move beyond being scared? You just got to get out of your feelings and do it anyway. Acknowledge that the fear exists, or that you're paying attention to this right now, and then move forward. It's like, just don't get stuck there in the fear space. And you just gotta, once you step through it, it might be a little uncomfortable, might be a little rocky. It probably will be met with resistance, but push through anyway. Because once you get to the other side, then you don't, you've conquered that fear. Because all it's going to do is come back and challenge you in another aspect of your life. So go ahead and conquer right at the first opportunity.
Yep, it's going to come back in a different situation or person.
Anyway. Yeah.
Shirley, let me tell you what. You know what? For me, it's all about regret. And I don't want to live my life with regret, because life is way too short. I want to eat my way and smell my way and touch my way and feel my way and talk my way through life. So when I think about any regrets that I've had in the past, I really don't have any. Because when I thought, oh gosh, you know, who, little old poor me on government assistance, on welfare, don't see many people of color on TV. And like, how will I be a TV reporter? And will I get there? And will I get paid to talk? And, you know, all these things come in your head. Sure, when they come, be in the present moment and thank them for showing up and be like, you know what? Okay, I do not want regrets. Let me just take baby steps and things that will come together. If it's for me and God wants it for me, then it'll be for me. And guess what? Everything in my life has shown up for me and manifested. But it also, you know, you and I talk about not just like having that intention in our heart, but really speaking it, taking action on it, and then it comes into fruition. Because for me, I think the worst thing you can do, failure to me, is not trying at all. It's
Yeah.
not trying something, it didn't work out.
That
Cool,
is,
you get to pivot
that's
because it's showing
colossal
you
failure.
something greater.
Right.
Right?
And I said that's a colossal failure when you don't even, when you're afraid to try.
Yeah, absolutely. And so that's what I have to say about that. And you know, you really have to follow, like Lonell said earlier, that thing that really excites you inside, and it should excite you so much so that, like in this movie, I don't want to have any spoilers, but I'm gonna spoil it for some of you guys. But like in this Crazy Rich Asians movie, there were some big stakes at hand in order to follow your truth. On both sides,
Right.
on both, you know, both of the leading male and female characters. Okay, so question number 2 is from Anonymous, and sort of in the same vein in terms of fear. So it says, when is taking a misstep okay and not so detrimental to your future? You know, I know a lot of young people because I teach, I've taught at 2 universities here in San Francisco. I'm currently teaching at one, and they're so afraid of making mistakes. Even with the blogging your passion class I created, they're so afraid that they're going to be judged for their videos or for their thoughts and their words. And I'm like, you know what? You got to put it out there and iterate. Nothing is perfect, right? Or nobody's ever perfect.
No, and no, and all the big people that you see today, from Beyonce to even the president to Oprah, Ellen, none of that was built, none of them were built in a day. And they've had plenty of mistakes and challenges. You're not going to get anywhere if you don't make any mistakes. Or you're never going to get to that, to the dream, to the full execution of the dream, if you don't make a mistake. You called it, they said a misstep. You can't avoid. I don't even know. You shouldn't even look at it as a misstep. Now, it may not be a direct step, but you went in this other direction to teach you something. Get the doggone lesson. What is it here to teach you, so that you can be stronger and move forward even more eloquently and beautifully. So don't even look at it as a misstep. It's just a different step. It may not be the anticipated step, and it may not be a direct step, but it's a necessary step. Otherwise, you wouldn't take it.
And if you think that you need to go, there's no linear straight step. I love, there's an infographic that I saw that showed like an arrow, and the arrow was like and all squiggly and everything, and then when it reached the end, it was straight, and then it was like this like happy face, and this arrow. And then there's another one where it was straight, the safe route, and then there was squiggly like cluster F at the end of it.
Wow.
You know, and if and if you don't follow your dreams and follow your heart, really, you won't really experience that joy. I don't think you'll really experience the fullest expression of who you were meant to be.
You better get in that light, baby.
Okay. Amen to that, right? Moving on to digital detox, segment 4, where we talk about digital detoxing. Okay, so, you know, I've been traveling, so it's kind of, my time on my phone has been weird, because sure, when I'm on the plane, I'm like editing photos or deleting them. And I still have that damn mute app that like throws shade at me and reminds me that I've been on the phone too long. But it's, you know, I'm still, you know, a work in progress, like I said. How's your digital detox going? I've just sort of done little bits and pieces like you know.
I'm making improvements. In fact, I got another thing saying that my goals were updated because I had spent less time. You know, it will update your goals if you actually achieve. If you break the goal by a certain number of minutes or whatever, it will reset the bar. So it actually lowered it quite a bit. So I was like, oh, okay. So I'm trying to at least stay in that. So at least I'm conscious of it. I mean, and before
Yeah.
when we first started doing this, I was like, oh God, just get rid of this app because I can't. But now I'm actually noticing a difference. So I'm actually much more mindful
Yeah.
and am seeing progress. I still have a long way to go, but I am seeing
Okay.
progress.
Yes. It's almost like doing the work in terms of spirituality and growing and trying to be in the present moment. It's like sometimes you get knocked off, but if you're overall incrementally growing, I'm cool with that,
Right,
right?
right.
Um, Instagram, I don't know if you saw the news, but Instagram has this really cool feature, which super surprised me, that it asks you, it not asks you, but it gives you several tools to digitally detox.
I
So
saw
they're
that.
rolling out this thing. There's three things that they're doing, and they're slowly rolling them out. It says it lets you see how much time you've been on Instagram. That's one thing. It sets you could set a daily reminder of how much time you want to stay on Instagram, and it throws shade and lets you know whether or not you accomplish that or not. And the third thing is it mutes your push notifications. And I love that Instagram, of course they want people on it and on it longer, but it says, quote, time on Insta should be positive, intentional, and inspiring. And it says the tools will be available globally in the coming weeks.
I love that.
What do you think about that?
I love that. Yes, and really, all social media should be that. It should be intentional and inspiring, and not just um, an avenue for you to reflect your pain and insecurities. It's like, no, put something out there, build a bridge, climb,
Right.
soar, people, soar. But yeah, you really do need to be mindful about it. And I'm glad, like from the top, from basically the creators of
Yes.
Instagram, that they're saying that
Yes.
that's how it should be
I know.
utilized. Not
Exactly.
being pimped by Russia.
You did not have to go there, did you? Not going to talk about that. But yeah, I'm just so happy that it started. Insta started that as soon as I checked and updated my Insta today just to see if it rolled out yet on my platform, and it hasn't yet. But I'm really excited to see that and see how it will kind of, keep me mindful. And really, isn't that what this whole discussion, digital, whether it be digital detox or all the other segments and things we talk about, is about being mindful. And taking baby steps so that we could be better and do better, and not only for ourselves but other people. That's
Right.
like what my life work is all about. So in terms of some final thoughts, I wanted to read a couple of things. Timothy here says, sometimes missteps are there to turn you in a different direction. It's part of the process.
Amen.
Amen to that.
That is
Couldn't be
so
more true
true.
statement there.
It is part of the process, and
Right?
yeah, and again, it goes back to, like, don't even look at them as a misstep. It's a learning opportunity. It's there to teach you something.
Mm-hmm.
You're supposed to
Yep.
take that leg of the journey for something. Just pay attention.
Yep.
So that the misstep doesn't become like a canyon that you fall into.
And then Tao says, I'm an avid reader, and I found that when I'm reading a new book, I automatically start to tune out of social media sphere. Even when I'm reading on my phone or tablet, I find myself significantly less interested in what's going on with other apps outside of my Kindle app. Ooh.
Smart. Very, very smart. And it's so nice
Smart
to hear
kid.
that a young person likes to read. Do you know?
Yes.
Do you know how many people
Me
I
too.
know that don't like to read?
Right.
And it's like,
Yep.
come on. But that's awesome.
I always adore. I love it when kids are in restaurants or they're in the subway or the bus and they're reading. I try to inspire that with my niece and nephews. And my niece likes to read, but my nephew sometimes he's just like so ADD, like Uncle T.
Yeah, and some people are that way, which is why, because we've gotten into this whole culture of 140, well, it's 220 characters now, whatever. This limit. We need everything condensed into like a quick sound bite or a quick tweet, and people don't really want to delve into the details. They just want everything kind of spoon-fed because we're constantly barraged with information.
Yeah.
So, no, that's coming at you, but you can control how much of it you need to absorb.
Yeah. Yeah. Something that touched me that was happening in the news that I read, I think it was just trending on Yahoo News, was that there was a couple that went hiking and then they were stuck in some cave. Did you read that? And they were like almost dying of hypothermia. They were like burned a bunch of their clothes and even cut the hair and was trying to burn that, and they almost died. And the woman said, it's somewhere here in America, I forget, but the woman had said that she realized what was really important in life, and she used to scroll through Instagram aimlessly, trying to upload selfies, and she's like, all that is not even important anymore. So, I mean, just imagine how much time, me included, you know, we spend on social media. But, you know, for me, I hope that I'm using it the way it was intended, to magnify all the beautiful things that I see in life, you know, and to share my experiences with people. I do find myself sometimes, though, like taking stuff down. I'll try to, I'll almost be done uploading something, and I'm like, ah, does that seem braggadocious? Or, you know, because people put their cars on there, their Louis Vuitton, you know, on there. And, you know, I just try to hopefully use it as a way to magnify the beautiful things. And also, you see my Instagram and Facebook. I do also tell the truth and talk about the things that aren't as pretty, so that you just know too that, you know, we're all in this together. And
Right.
really, the reason why we're also doing the show is to let people know that, you know, you're not alone in your journey.
You are
We
not
got wisdom to share.
alone. Oh, you're not alone.
Share. Michael Jackson, you are not alone. Okay, I'm not gonna sing because y'all gonna just hit delete here or move on to another social media platform. But anyway, that's all I got today because time's up. Thank you so much, y'all, for watching. I hope that you guys, if you like what you see, please share, please like, please comment, and sorry, you broke up a little bit.
I was like, oh no, what happened? No, I was just saying it's just important for us to have a space to be where we can be vulnerable, or just share our stories without judgment and understand that
Yes.
we're not alone. So that's all I was saying. That's the only point.
Absolutely. And you know, sharing is caring, y'all. So when you have the vulnerability to share and care, people share and care too. Just like the poem we just read from Marianne Williamson. So thank you for sharing and caring. Please continue to send in your questions and comments and share. And I'll see you later, brother.
Have a good one.
Week.
See you guys next week.
All right. Thanks, y'all. See you later. And watch Crazy Rich
Rich
Asian. I want to hear.
I'm going this weekend to see it.
Yes. Okay, we'll talk about it next week.
Okay, perfect.
With you and y'all.
All right.
Okay, thanks, guys. See you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.